Hi, I'm Jay from Euglycemia. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about how to deal with the TSA when you travel. Traveling is something that I do a lot. When I was 18, I jumped on a plane bound for Guatemala and I stayed for 2 years. And that really set the tone for the way I view travel and the high priority I place on travel in my personal life. So please follow along. I'm going to give you my best tips for how to deal with the TSA. I think one of the most high yield activities before you go through the TSA checkpoint is just to have your mindset right. When people are flying, they're usually very stressed out. And keep in mind that these TSA agents see thousands of stressed out people per day. When people are stressed, they tend to end up in one of two camps. They're completely aloof and they engage in a bunch of word vomit when questioned, or they get real mean and real defensive. I try to be somewhere right in the middle when I'm dealing with the TSA. I smile big, I ask how their day is going, and I don't offer up any additional information. If they have questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. But keep in mind that the more you say, the more they're obligated to check what's going on in your bag. If you're talking about a bunch of expensive and complicated electronics and batteries and vials of insulin, they're probably going to want to take a look. Me, I don't say anything. I leave it up to them. I'm polite, I'm cordial, and I just try to get through the checkpoint as quickly as possible. A little bit of prep and forethought before you enter the TSA checkpoint is time very well spent. When I can, I try to leave things in original packaging. That way it protects things from becoming damaged and squished, and when the boxes and the supplies match the name of your pump manufacturer, it adds a little bit more legitimacy. If this is way overkill and I don't need that many supplies, I usually go with something like this. This is because the quick sites that I've been using for so long are prone to compression, and that can damage the needle and basically render the entire set useless. So this is what I use if it's a short trip, this is what I use if it's a long trip. I've already done a video on what I carry with me on a daily basis in that little black case. When I'm traveling, I have that loaded down with about 5 days worth of supplies in my personal bag. Then I carry the rest of the supplies with me in my carry-on bag. I do not recommend that you transport your supplies in a checked bag. I think that understanding some of the screening equipment involved may help with some of the anxiety in going through the TSA checkpoint. The AIT is by far the mainstay of TSA screening. This is the one you see where you go in, you put your hands up, and that big bar sweeps across and then goes back. What this is doing is sending milliwaves through your clothes, striking your body, and then coming back, creating an outline of everything that's under your clothes. Now, these images are not detailed. They're also completely non-explicit, and there are lots of examples on the internet if that's a concern to you. If you choose to forego the AIT screening, you can go through the metal detector with a pat down. In my mind, that's even more invasive than the AIT scanner. I choose to just go through the scanner. Now, this is not what most people are doing. Therefore, if you choose a metal detector, you're probably going to have to wait. And how long you're going to have to wait totally depends on how busy they are and how many people are available. In my mind, it's simply not worth it. There are some pump manufacturers that state that going through the metal detector is better than going through the AIT scanner because AIT is relatively new and they don't have enough data to say whether or not it's safe. I get by that little problem by making sure that my supplies are through the scanner and in the TSA's hands before the scan actually happens. Another pro tip is to print off these cards from the internet. This one is actually put out by the TSA as part of the TSA Cares program. This card really just demonstrates that you know the process, you don't want to be hassled. So if anybody starts to give me any problems, I just pull out this card and I give it to them. I'm very polite, and usually if there's any issue, it immediately goes away. This is a card that I print off the pump manufacturer's website. Now, you can print off an entire PDF that gives all the pump information to the TSA agent. I've never needed that. I've never heard of anybody needing that. You can also have a letter from your doctor. I've never needed that. I've never actually heard of anybody needing that either. Or you can have nothing. I've traveled without these, I've been fine. I've traveled with them and not needed them. And there's been a couple of occasions where I've pulled them out just to make sure that I'm not getting searched and I'm gonna make it through this checkpoint quickly. So, when I'm ready to go get on my flight, first thing before I even get in line, I have my laptop out, it's tucked under my arm. Everything is out of my pockets, my belt is off, and all of that's jammed into my carry-on. I have my license and I have my ticket. Go through the line, you hand that to the agent, you jam it in your bag, then you walk up to the conveyor belt for everything going through the X-ray. Laptop goes in its own case, shoes go in a different bin, your carry-on goes on top of that, and if you have an additional bag, you put that in front. You shove it all to the front, let it go through on the conveyor belt. I have my pump and my CGM and any other supplies that I have that can't go through the X-ray. I have them in my hand in a clear plastic baggie. I stand on the little foot mat as I'm waiting to go through the AIT scanner. The agent waves me through. I walk through the scanner. I hand the bag to the TSA agent on the other side. This is something that they're used to. They're wearing gloves for a reason. You hand it to them, you say very simply, hey, I'm type 1 diabetic, these supplies can't go through the scanner. They grab it and say, okay. You go back in, you put your feet where they're supposed to go, you raise up your hands, the AIT scanner goes across, you come out, you collect your things, and boom, you're on your way. Now, you guys, any type 1 diabetic knows this. The second you tell anybody that you're type 1 diabetic, they're gonna come with some crazy anecdotal story for you. It's like they feel like they're doing you a favor by letting you know that somebody they know had really horrible complications from this disease. So, you get your bag back from the TSA agent, they're gonna be something like, hey, my Nana, she had the diabetes, and one night when she was chewing on her toenail, her whole toe came off. Can you believe that? And then I always just say, I keep it light, I keep it fun. I just say, yeah, the same thing happened to me on the way here. It's in my carry-on. Okay, have a good day. I turn around, I'm out of there, no problems. I have a very high confidence that if you follow these tips, you won't have any trouble dealing with the TSA.